sort of heard from Nikhil here that, while there is the correct mindset from the government, perhaps there is not enough support being extended from the banks. And I think it's a sort of practical solution also there that, the balance sheet of the company sort of really changed in the 3 months. It's a chicken and egg problem, really. I sort of want to come to you now, Vinod. So we heard from all the three fellow panelists, and having enough convergence on the points of cost to capital and deepening credit. I wonder sort of what do you think? You also sort of, recently inducted in the NASSCOM as part of the Engineering Council, and you're working with a lot of these startups in this direction. What are you hearing from SMEs in that space?
Yeah, so thank you, Shrija and HT Mint for inviting me to this panel. So definitely access to capital is an issue, and holding SMEs and startups back in terms of realizing their full potential and growth. For SMEs, equity and debt are appropriate capital types for different uses. So one thing which is very important is that entrepreneurs should think about the right kind of capital for the right purpose. For example, IP development, funding losses in the initial stages, building the initial team are high risk and long gestation investments, and these must be funded through equity. However, working capital is a typical debt style need, and more it has a very definite payback, shorter turnaround time. But having said that, debt capital has been very hard to come by for startups, especially if they are not profitable. Getting loans for startups is extremely difficult, as all banks, they look at the balance sheet and profitability for the last 2-3 years. And because there is no profitability, which is very natural for a startup or a business which is just starting up, the banks refuse to lend. Having said that, recently there are some avenues like the SIDBI, CGT, MSC schemes that can be accessed.
Yeah.
So, and there are also new age startups like Indify, Capital Float, and these startups, they have launched revenue-based financing and invoice-based financing support, which SMEs and startups can access, and Dinesh also alluded to that. Another big issue is the cost of capital, and this can vary a lot. For subsidized schemes like the SIDBI scheme, the cost can be in low teens, but the private players, the cost can be 18% and above. So on an average, if you see, the cost of debt is pretty high. It is somewhere mid-teens or above, which, given the thin margins on which SMEs operate, is doesn't become a viable option, right? So getting loans at subsidized rates will help these entrepreneurs to focus on growth and be less worried about how they are going to service the debt. So that is something which I thought I would share. And this is what I actually gather when I work with startups and SMEs as part of my NASSCOM and TIE initiatives.
Vinod, so I come to you now. Nikhil made this point that while it's good to have this campaign and narrative building around Atmanirbharta and self-reliance, it has to be equally supported by capital, and perhaps there's need for more deepening of alternate sources of capital, going beyond the banks. I come to you now, Vinod, and then we sort of get the last leg of our conversation around solutions building and where do we get from here. But before I get to that, what is your sense?
So yeah, so taking off from where Nikhil left, I think what is very important is that startups, they need to be underwritten very differently from traditional companies, as they carry very different kinds of risks. And this calls for innovation both in credit and pricing. And as Nikhil mentioned, right, for supporting the product companies, supporting Atmanirbhar Bharat, right, there can be many schemes, right, where equity support can be given to very innovative startups. On the credit side, mechanisms like revenue-based financing and bill discounting can help bring more certainty to repayment and hence lower the risk. And this is what Dinesh also mentioned. On the pricing front, equity warrants have been used in very innovative way in venture debt structures. Other upside capture structures may provide the necessary incentive for banks to lend to startups and create a buffer to tolerate more losses. So again, there can be some innovation around these structures. So I think to have more accessibility to loans, the banks also need to be more pragmatic and take a little more risk and try to fund companies in their initial years and also during the difficult times, the times we are going through. And as all other panelists also alluded to, processing of loans can be expedited. So
Great.
as you see, recently the government announced this 3 lakh crore loans to be guaranteed by the government. And I've heard that there has been some very good offtake and banks are willing to lend given that the government is going to back in case of default.
Mhm.
So such schemes, I think, need to continue and should not be just for taking care of a pandemic, but supporting some good SMEs and startups. There can be some kind of a subsidized mechanism whereby the government, in terms of if the business fails because of the risk inherent in the business, the government should be able to support.
I come to you now, Vinod, soon, and we'll open the ground to the rapid fire then. Yeah.
Okay, so since I come from the tech background, I strongly believe that technology can play a very critical role in both increasing accessibility as well as reducing the cost of providing capital. And my panelists also talked about this. Data analytics, AI and machine learning can be used to do risk assessment, which can help in reducing the time to clear loans as well as also reduce the overhead cost. Okay, digital banks and financial institutions can increase reach and make sure that the underserved or unbanked subscribers also are catered to. And this, in fact, can take care of, instead of increasing physically the number of banks, right? Bring in technology, digitize this entire process to increase accessibility. So that is one point. The second point I want to make is all said and done, we also cannot wish away the large NPAs we have. Okay, we have almost 10% NPAs, right? And RBI says that it can go up to 14 or 15%, right? So which is a very, very worrying scenario, right? So what for sure needs to be done is that this entire system, the banking system, has to be strengthened. And I think, again, a contrarian point of view, instead of saying that there is a lack of understanding of money creation, I think there is a question of trust and transparency, right? So businesses, entrepreneurs, they also need to be honest in terms of discharging their obligation towards the banks, right? They need to build transparency so that the banks also are comfortable in lending. And we all know that, yeah, uh, there are issues, right? There are businesses, there are folks who try to work on the gray areas and beat the system. Okay, so all these elements, right, who make up this ecosystem, they need to mutually work together to build that trust. And that is, I think, something which also will help in strengthening this entire SME and startup ecosystem.
Vinod Sood, I want to ask you, if this world were a billboard, what would you write on it?
Uh, that we have tremendous talent and potential, and it is up to us to how to unleash that potential. I think we have comparisons with China, but I think if we can somehow unleash the underlying potential and the passion which our youngsters have, I think we can beat China any day.
Thank you, everybody. I think for your time and energy into this. I think we had a very beautiful conversation here, and here's wishing you and yours a very safe and healthy environment. Thank you.